So let's say for a couple of months you're doing well, and you decided that today's the day that you're going to start your health routine. Whatever's happening is happening, and for 3 months straight you're doing awesome. Perfect. Eating well, doing whatever it is you have to do. And then one day you're driving along the street, and on the right-hand side is a little Dunkin' Donuts store that's just calling your name. Like it often does. Anyway, so for 3 months you're doing really, really well, but today's the day that you decide that this Dunkin' Donuts store, you're going to make a little right turn into the parking lot, you're going to park, and all of a sudden there's all these things happening in your brain. What's happening? First of all, the first thing you think is, what am I doing? What am I doing? Don't do this, don't do this. The other part of you is saying, I'm obviously going in here, I'm going to get that donut. And I'll tell you what. So for 3 months straight, you had this plan, and you're doing really, really well. For whatever reason, you had to do it. And then all of a sudden, what happened is maybe you and your significant other are having a bad day, your boss is giving you hell, you deserve a little treat. All these things are popping up in your head, and you decide it's time to pull in the parking lot. So you pull in, you walk into the store, and all of a sudden, back and forth, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this. And then you do it. You indulge, you get a couple donuts, a large coffee, you drink it, 5 minutes, you get a sugar high. It's amazing, you love it. And then the battle starts again. Why did I do that? I'm an idiot. I didn't want this. And then the other part said, okay, I'm treating myself. So the Dunkin' Donuts story, I'm here to tell you today about what happens in the mind when you're eating. I also happen to have a chronic illness. I have what Heidi has, and we connect on that level of knowing what it is to feel sick every day of your life. And what do you do? What do you do to take care of that? There's so many elements to being sick. Number one, no one gets it. People look at you and you look normal. You know, every single person has some type of something happening. So you look normal, so you must be normal. So when you have to act in certain ways or do certain things to preserve your health, people are like, why are you doing that? For example, I happen to be gluten-free. I don't eat bread, and bread happens to be my favorite thing in the world. So every day I come across these, I like to call them mental battles. Every day they're mental battles. Because part of me is like, am I really sick? Is this really going to make me sick? And the other part of me is, yes, you're going to get sick. So food and the mind. So I didn't get into hypnosis for chronic illness purposes. I got into hypnosis for a completely different reason, and I'll get into that in a minute. But before I go there, I want to go a little deeper with you guys. So, food, and what I'd like to say for actually a lot of people out there today is I think the number one chronic illness that is afflicting the United States right now happens to be obesity. Would you agree with me on that? And a lot of people do not classify obesity as an illness, but it is. Food addiction, sugar addiction, any type of addiction, all of these things, they all start in the mind. And what I like to tell my clients, if you want to go a little deeper with me, what I like to tell the people that I work with is, and I like to get a little blunt, I get blunt with the people that I work with. I say to them, if you didn't have a head, if you literally chopped off your head, there would be no feelings, there'd be no cravings, and there'd be absolutely no pain. So all of it, hunger is a feeling, happiness, sadness, obviously, they're all feelings. Were you to chop off your head, you would have none of these, okay? So the idea behind it is, all of it, every single thing, disease, eating, feelings, all the above, they all start in the mind. Which is why I'm here today, to tell you what I'm about to tell you. Hypnosis. Have any of you tried this before? Yes? Back there? Ah. Was it terrible? Okay. Hypnosis is one of the most fascinating things that I've ever seen in my life. The way the human mind works is really, truly fascinating. That first thing that I told you about, the whole Dunkin' Donuts story, what happens in the mind is we have part of us, well, we have multiple parts of ourselves. Part of us wants this thing, part of us wants another thing, and they're all good things. Everything we want, quote unquote, in life, for whatever reason, in our mind, is all good things. Everything we do, if we want to take it a little deeper now, everything we do in life is to attain a feeling. So go with me here. So feelings create thoughts, and thoughts create behaviors. So what I do, for example, the people that I work with that have weight issues, they tell me I'm hungry, so I eat. Of course, you're supposed to eat when you're hungry, but there's a lot of people I work with that for many, many years, they never ate because they were hungry. They ate because every other reason in the book. So what does that mean? They have this behavior of overeating, but that has nothing to do with food. Or they have this behavior of food addiction, but it has nothing to do with food. What it has to do with, the behavior comes from the thought, and the thought comes from the feeling. So whatever feeling you're trying to satiate is what you do. So what I do every single day is I deal with the feelings, whatever the issue is. So I'd like to tell you a little personal story of how I got into hypnosis and how it saved my life. I would not be standing here today were it not for hypnotherapy. Beyond the chronic illness. I guess I'll start here. It was 3.5 years ago, and I was, thank you. It's competitive out there. Food's good, huh? Keep eating. I'm with it. Keep eating. Bear with me. So, 3.5 years ago, now that I got some of your eyeballs, I was in a near-death car accident. I was smashed in my car, and it was a miraculous thing that I survived. I should not have survived. I was handicapped for a long time, both physically and, more importantly, mentally. I was one person, and within 30 seconds, I wasn't that person anymore. I had what's called post-traumatic stress. Familiar? A lot of people, when they come back from war, have post-traumatic stress. You're one person, and then all of a sudden, you cannot handle anything in the world. You cannot handle a thing. And for me, that was tough, because I used to be a very independent person, and all of a sudden, I wasn't. I had such significant fears that I felt that if I left my house, if I walked out of my house, I'd be struck by lightning. That's how off I went within 30 seconds. It's called post-traumatic stress. So, long story short, I knew I had a long battle in front of me. Not only did I have this serious trauma to my brain, I had chronic illness on top of it. So whenever I tried to work out, I'd pass out. Anytime I was trying to be in rehab, I broke all of this. So anytime I tried to go through rehab, I'd pass out. So nothing was working for me. Anyway, for 6 months I was seeing someone to help me with my brain, a therapist, to get me back on track, and yet she wasn't doing it for me. She was a very nice woman, it wasn't it. Anyway, so I continued my search, and I happened to find a very special woman who gave me my life back. And the first thing she said to me when I met her, she said, "Listen, I'm a bit alternative. I hope you're okay with that." And I, coming from a scientific background, said, "I'm desperate. Give me whatever you got." In my brain thinking, whatever she's going to tell me, I'm highly skeptical. It's not happening. So she told me, I do this thing called hypnosis. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. All I knew was this thing, the TV shows, all that creepy stuff. I was like, this woman's definitely not getting in my brain. Not happening. So it took her a little while to convince me. When I finally did it, I walked in feeling like one person. I walked out feeling like another person. I had no idea what she did. I just felt better. Within a month and a half, my PTSD, my post-traumatic stress was gone.
Say it, woman. Say it.
Within a month and a half. I'm not even going to take the credit for that one. But it was phenomenal. And when it occurred to me, what is this woman doing? What is this magic? Because there are people that with PTSD that they go the rest of their lives. They go the rest of their lives with PTSD, and it shouldn't happen. Actually, I had a conversation with a psychologist the other day. I was giving a lecture to someone else, and a psychologist came up to me. She's like, I want to work with you. She's like, I want to work with you because what we're doing for the veterans in the United States is not working. The suicide rate is too high. What is the issue here? And she knew that I had post-traumatic stress. She's like, what worked for you? Anyway. There's so many people out there with PTSD, with depression, with anxiety. It does not have to be that way. There are alternatives. Yet you have to be educated with what those alternatives are. Anyway, to wrap that piece up, I got better very quickly. I became intrigued, I became curious, and now I'm a hypnotherapist, and I work every single day in trauma. Every single day in trauma. And my passions are to give people their life back. So chronic illness, how does that fit in the picture? Everything's connected. Mind, body, spirit. Everything's connected. So when I started healing from my trauma, interestingly enough, my pain in my body from my chronic illness started dissipating. And then I started connecting the two things. I started saying to myself, what is happening here? When my mind is getting rid of these things, when my subconscious mind is healing, all of a sudden, I have no pain. How is that connected? I started thinking about it. Everything that is in our body is chemistry, is electricity, is communication. And when the communication is off, it's called disease. Do you bear with me with that?
Yes.
When the body has miscommunication, it's called disease. So what I do with my clients is I repair the communication. I repair the communication in the subconscious mind through hypnosis to help repair the disease. Heidi's worked with me before. She can tell you. Listen, I didn't make this stuff up. And it's interesting because a lot of hypnotists would never take on these cases. The reason I got into it is because I'm a survivor of it. And I've been there. And I've done it. And it gave me my life back. And it's continually giving me my life back. And it's my mission to share it with people. So I'm here today to share. And when I have a discussion, the conversation to be here tonight, I jumped on this because it is so important that we learn that food is thy medicine. So connecting it back to Dunkin' Donuts, connecting it back to what we're doing here tonight. When the brain wants good food, it'll go for it. But not until it's convinced that it wants good food will it go for it. So the disconnect with what's happening with let food be thy medicine. For example, I might very well want to eat broccoli. I might want to eat broccoli consciously. But if in the back of my mind, every time I look at broccoli, I get reminded of the 5-year-old in me that said, ew, hell no am I eating this broccoli. I will not eat the broccoli. So that's the connection I'm trying to talk about. Every day I work with the subconscious mind to bring back results. What they say about hypnosis is 6 sessions of hypnosis is basically equal to 600 sessions of psychoanalysis. And anyone that has done hypnosis, anyone that has tried this thing, will tell you it has saved their life. On that note, to wrap this up, in honor of the night, I am offering, if any of you are so interested, my email. If you want to contact me, if there's anyone you know, or for you, for example, if you email me tonight, I'm offering 50% off my services for the initial consultation. And also, just for tonight, And also, what I decided to do, that if you come in as a client from tonight, I'll give 10% of your consultation, or your first session, 10% of your first session will go back towards the cause tonight. So it all goes full circle. Anyway, I know I gave you a lot, but if there's any questions, I'm here. If not, please enjoy your evening. Food My email. This guy's good. I can't leave without my email. So my email is BTT Coaching. It's my hypnotherapy practice is called By This Time Coaching. Why by this time? Why by this time? By this time occurred to me because when you have chronic illness, you always think to yourself, by this time I will be healthy. By this time I'll achieve this. And with what I've been doing, what I've been seeing, I have been getting healthy. I have been doing these things. So now's the time, by this time. And my email, once again, is BTT Coaching, B as in boy, T as in Tom, T as in Tom Coaching at gmail.com. And if you want, you can email me your name, your phone number, what's going on, whatever ailments you have, and I'll be happy to speak with you. Thanks so much.